So far, there's 194 cases. Only 4 of those cases remain open. It's almost a 98% solve rate. You shoot somebody in our town, you're going to get caught. 28 of those are juvenile victims, and 36 of those are juvenile suspects. We have a lot of work to do in the juvenile arena, and we're going to continue to focus in on that. And aside of the firearms recovered by that violent gun crime unit only, 273 guns were taken off our streets last year that were used in shooting another human being. Exceptional work, exceptional partnerships. I'm so proud to be part of all of this Southern Nevada law enforcement community. Thank you. And thank you, Adam, from Clear Channel, for your partnership, for what it is that you do to help us. And I'm going to turn it over to Adam now. Thanks.
Thank you, Sheriff, and thank you, SAC Delzato. Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam Barthelmess, and I'm the president of Clear Channel Outdoor here in Vegas. Thank you for joining us all today as we align in the fight against violent crime in our community. Through our partnerships with various governmental, non-governmental, and nonprofit organizations, Clear Channel continues to play an active role in the communities we serve by supporting causes that impact millions of people in Las Vegas and throughout the U.S. This includes numerous campaigns with local, state, and federal law enforcement like we're announcing here. Assisting with health and public safety efforts is one of the many ways we're privileged to continue helping serve our local communities. And we're honored yet again to do our part to use the power of our digital outdoor media to support the FBI and Las Vegas Metro PD law enforcement as they work to protect us and our families against the ongoing threat of violent crime. I'm proud and honored to stand up here today with these law enforcement officials as they're working hard to educate our community about this threat, and importantly, as the billboards read, to also inspire our residents to do their part by calling in to the FBI hotline to report violent crime when they see it or if they know about it. Clear Channel Outdoor looks forward to continuing our promise to be an important part of the Las Vegas community as these billboards begin live today. Thank you.
Adam, can you tell them where they're running all day so if they want to get a shot?
Sure, the best locations for photos and shots are going to be on the southeast corner of Decatur and Charleston, as well as the northeast corner of Cobalt and Tropicana. Those are the best, safest spots that you can pull over, and they're going to be in more of the local area as opposed to freeways.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? And can you tell me who you want to ask the question of? Anyone?
Yeah. Question for Christopher Delzato. Story making headlines today is this gambling probe involving people affiliated with the NBA. Are you able to say how the FBI Las Vegas participated in that investigation?
The lead on that investigation is FBI New York and the Eastern District of New York, so I'll kind of defer the questions to them.
Okay, was the FBI Las Vegas involved in that investigation?
FBI Las Vegas assisted in the arrest of one of the subjects here in town this morning.
Are you able to say who that was?
Again, I'll direct it to New York.
And then back to the billboards, what was the inspiration behind the messaging using the wording "help crush violent crime"?
Really, the inspiration, it stemmed from Director Patel and his, one of his primary initiatives, one of his primary focuses across the country is to crush violent crime. So that really spurred the billboard campaign.
Yeah, and then using billboards like this in the past, what have been kind of some of the successes that you have with people calling in the tips line?
I mean, it's like the sheriff said, we can't police without the public's involvement. So anytime the public's involved with providing information, it obviously generates cases, it generates sources and other things that are used to mitigate threats like violent crime, just being one of them, public corruption, healthcare fraud, the full gamut of criminal as well as national security threats we see here in Las Vegas.
Can you expand more on the gang portion of what you had discussed specifically? Are you seeing an increase in the number of gang members here or new gangs popping up? And if so, what does the violent crime look like when you're dealing with it?
I mean, I think I'll say, and to the sheriff's point, and I think his numbers reflect that I think local, state, and federal law enforcement is doing a fantastic job here in mitigating a lot of those threats. With that being said, obviously we still have gangs and a gang presence here in Las Vegas. Sheriff, did you want to comment at all on that?
You covered it.
Okay.
I do have a quick question for Sheriff that may help. You know, at the State of the Department address earlier this year, you had mentioned that your biggest increase the number of OISs. It seems like you've been able to do that, but part of that was also the increased training that you were going to implement. Can you discuss a little bit more about what that training has looked like and obviously the success that you've seen?
Sure. So the question, for those that couldn't hear it, is the success of the reduction in officer-involved shootings and the training that we've done. As you well know, we just opened up the entirety of the new reality-based training center that we have here in Las Vegas. And that training center was completely privately funded to the tune of about $40 million, so it didn't cost taxpayers anything. But the bottom line of that is that when we have an officer-involved shooting, we put that back into a training environment every single time. And the idea is that we put that back into the training environment and run all of our patrol officers through that training to arrive at an alternative to the deadly force that is normally used or was used in that incident. How do you train that out? Sometimes it's team tactics, sometimes it's literally slowing things down, sometimes it's alternative weapons other than deadly force, like the 40 millimeter or the beanbag rounds that we have. It's also the utilization of drones and the technology that we now have at Metro. We're getting ready to unveil the 38 drones that are stationed around the valley. We already have drones as a first responder. But the bottom line is that we instilled this culture of what we call injecting humanity into every situation that we have. And our officers are having to deal with less trauma as well. So there's a wellness component built around this for our police as well. And the success is incredible. Human lives are being saved on both sides of this. And it's something that I'm extremely proud of. But thanks for your question. Sure.
You were talking about some of the successes that you have had in the lowering, the reduction of crime rates. Many other cities have also said their rates have been lower, and despite that, the administration has sent in the National Guard, for example, saying they want to fight crime. I was wondering if you would welcome or oppose the administration sending in the National Guard to our city here.
I don't think there's any demonstrated need for the National Guard to come here. I certainly have a lot of, I'm former Army myself, and so those citizen soldiers that are serving out there day in and day out, I'm extremely proud of what it is that they do and how it is that they do it. I don't think that Las Vegas has a crime rate that needs the National Guard out here, and I think as we continue to crush those numbers, as we're talking about here, I don't think we're going to be on that list to actually do that. We have relationships amongst all of our partners here at the federal level. But listen, at the same time, if that were to happen, we would communicate and incorporate them as we do all other agencies into our crime-fighting efforts here. I think it really speaks volumes, though, because the question that you asked was, lots of cities are seeing reductions in violent crime. And you're not wrong about that, but I want to say to you this is, we've seen 3 years since I've been your sheriff of significant reductions in violent crime, and there's not any cities across the United States that can show those 3-year declines in the same way or the same levels that we have, nor can they contribute, nor can they have the significant reduction in officer-involved shootings that we've seen here as well. So I think what we're doing collectively here in Southern Nevada as law enforcement is literally second to none, and it's amazing to watch what our men and women do every single day to go out there and make a difference in our communities. It's because they really care about the place that they live in.
And then also, you talked about the relationship that you've had with other agencies, federal and state. How is, one of the reasons for the 287G, for example, was to go after the worst of the worst, as it was said. How is that going? What is the status of your participation?
So as you well know, the question is, what's the status of the 287G participation? Basically with ICE is what you're asking. And so I'll go over this again so everybody understands this. Our participation with ICE at any level is all jail-based participation, meaning that if an individual is arrested for a domestic violence, a DUI, or any felony, and then the addition of the Laken Riley Act charges that came about as an act of Congress to make it law, if they're foreign-born and they're arrested for one of those offenses into my jail, we make an ICE notification. Subsequent to an individual being released from the jail, we also make an ICE notification, and a judicial warrant can be served by ICE to hold an individual for up to 48 hours. We are currently in the process. We have completed the training that is offered by ICE to my detention officers. We are still waiting for ICE to actually officially acknowledge the existence of the training and move that forward. So we haven't actually held anybody 48 hours over yet, but ICE does do a daily pickup from our jail at the Clark County Detention Center, and they are taking some very, some people that have been charged with very, very serious offenses, to include murder, shootings, child molestation, child pornography, and many, many other things. So the ICE is picking up people from the Clark County Detention Center today on a daily basis.
Can you talk about the ACLU lawsuit against LVMPD regarding that and holding a person indefinitely?
Yeah, so the question is, can I talk about the ACLU lawsuit against Metro and the Clark County Detention Center? I'm not going to get too deep into the lawsuit for obvious reasons, but I will tell you that the individual that they are suing us over is no longer in custody of the Clark County Detention Center.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with one more question about the billboard campaign. If there is another.
I do have a question, but you haven't asked any, so
I just
go
want
ahead.
to, how many billboards are there? Is there the two, or how many are we doing throughout the valley?
So we have over 80 valley. They're going to be spread periodically throughout the entire valley. The two that will be ongoing, just from a easier sake of photos and things of that nature, are the two I gave you.
Gotcha. And then just quickly, you know, obviously this initiative is new, so maybe we can see some short-term success here, but long-term, what is the goal to ensure that you are continuing to reduce these numbers? How will you do that?
Well, I mentioned the CAT team earlier. We'll continually lean on teams like that to bring mitigation to any violent crime that we see here in Las Vegas. You know, kind of to foot stomp the success of that specific group that are subject matter experts in apprehending the most violent fugitives in the state. In the last year, so from October 1, 2024 to October 1, 2025, that team has arrested 380 violent offenders. So if you look at that annually, that's more than one arrest a day of a violent felon. So really want to foot stomp that team, and we'll continue to utilize those teams to bring that type of success going forward.
Especially regarding that, could you just put it sort of in context? You were talking about the success rate. How does the Las Vegas area compare with other cities around the country or even in the western region? Has it seen really a significant decrease compared with some of those others? Is it right in line with it?
I mean, like the sheriff said, his numbers speak for themselves. I mean, decreases 3 years successively in a row, and significant decreases at that. So the numbers don't lie. So
I think we're good.
Thank you all.
thank you.